Hello, beautiful human, and welcome back to the Lost and Found podcast, where we figure things out in real time together. I'm so excited to talk to you today. I just came out of one of the most inspiring conversations with a friend, and it just feels like this is the type of stuff that we need to be talking about every day. This is the message I want to get across to you, and it's all about unhinged truths that I'm learning in my 20s, that I'm learning as I grow up. Buckle up, get ready. I think some of these might surprise you. Some of these maybe you already know. You just need a reminder. So let's talk about it. The first one, you need extracurriculars as an adult. If you're just working every single day, 9 to 5, getting home, scrolling, not doing anything, you're going to lose your zest for life. You need to do salsa classes, cooking classes, join a book club, join a run club, audition for a theater production, do maybe a sip and paint once a week, volunteer as a tutor at a children's home, or walk dogs, something that will remind you that life is more than just about work. And even if you love your work, I love my work. I work a lot, but I still need to do something that reminds me that life is more than just what's going on my screen. Your nervous system is begging you to move in ways that don't involve email. So maybe even learn a new language. But the trick here is to get away from a screen. So don't do it online. Go to your local Alliance Française and take a few French classes or something you've always wanted to do. It's all about meeting new people and becoming a really fully formed, multi-layered, interesting human being. It's not about escaping work, but it's about celebrating life outside of work. I had this friend in Buenos Aires who was such an inspiring person, and he had a really big job in the corporate world in finance, and super straight-laced guy, very disciplined. But once a week, he took piano classes. He went out of his way and paid to start doing piano classes from scratch at the age of 23. And I thought that was just so inspiring. Next one, normalize not having an opinion. You're allowed to say, I don't know enough about that. It doesn't make you stupid. It makes you responsible. So be the person who listens to both sides and says, that's really interesting. I don't know enough about it to give my opinion. You don't have to pick a side. I think we live in a world that really wants to create these polarities, these binaries, these different camps of you're either completely like this or you're completely like that. There's no room for gray area. There's no room to say, you know what, I'm still figuring it out. I don't know how I feel about this yet. You are allowed to say that. That for me is one of the main indicators of true intelligence and empathy. Next one, probably one of my favorite ones. If your old self doesn't make you cringe, you're doing it wrong. Okay, so what do I mean by that? I think that we go through so many different versions of ourselves if you are putting yourself in a position to grow, if you're getting outside of your comfort zone. So growing up, I always wanted to be a chef, of course, after watching Ratatouille. I also wanted to be a kung fu fighter after watching Mulan. And then I broke my arm because I jumped off of a jumping castle. I wanted to be a movie director, a coffee shop owner, a mountaineer, a pro tennis player, of course, a writer too. And I even went through this brief stint of fully believing that I would be the first female president of South Africa. And then in university, I was someone completely different. Believe it or not, in university, I used to wear camel coats and pencil skirts to class. I mean, people who know me now would not recognize that old version of me. I used to be obsessed with productivity. I would rather have died than eaten a carb more than once a week. I mean, I cringe when I think of that old version of me. Yes, I'm grateful for that version. Yes, I still think of her with kindness and empathy, but I've grown. I'm different. So, embarrassment is a sign of evolution. If you consistently avoid embarrassment, then you're not growing. You're not changing. You're not learning. So put yourself out of your comfort zone. Have the courage to be a beginner. Have the courage to experiment with what you like, with your identity. And then at one point, you will look back and you'll be like, wow, that old version of me, oh, it's kind of cringy. I love her though. But that shows that you have grown. You're doing something right. Next one. If you're asking, should I break up with them? You already have. Don't delay the breakup. This is one of the biggest mistakes I think people in their 20s make, because a lot of the times you would have a high school boyfriend or somebody you meet in university. You're maybe not fully sure about them, but maybe they're your first boyfriend or your second boyfriend or girlfriend. I mean, I know I have multiple different people listening to the podcast. I'm sorry if sometimes it sounds like I'm just talking to the girls. Um, but I think sometimes you get in a space of that first relationship where you don't know what's out there yet. You don't know what you liked because you've only ever had this one experience. And so you hold on to that far longer than you should, even though in your subconscious, in your mind, you know maybe this person isn't fully right for you. I know it's hard. I know it's scary. But if you're questioning it constantly, you're just getting disconnected from yourself. You're moving further and further away from the person you should be because you keep on giving energy to a situation that doesn't warrant it anymore. Yes, there's going to be heartbreak. No matter what happens, it always hurts when a relationship ends. But you have to make that decision sooner rather than later because dragging it out is worse. If you're in that relationship and you constantly question it, you're already out in your heart. Right now, you're just managing the logistics of letting go. But the decision lives in your body long before you actually say it. Do yourself a favor, do them a favor, and set yourself free. Another truth: being tired all the time isn't normal and it's not cute. It's not a personality trait. It shows that you are imbalanced. Rest isn't weak, it's wise. In fact, I think you should rest before you're exhausted. Build little pockets of rest into your daily life. I mean, I recently did a podcast episode on how to actually rest during the weekend, how to rest in a way that makes you feel truly recovered, makes you feel like you can take on your week and like you didn't just rot and scroll. So learn how to rest before you are so bone deep exhausted, burnt out that you can't even face life or do the thing that you know will give you energy and make you feel better. You know those people who are always complaining about how tired they are? It's just annoying. Get over yourself. Get some sleep. Do something that will make you feel better. Don't wait for burnout to listen to your body. Don't let breakdown be the thing that teaches you balance. Build rest into your rhythm like it's a non-negotiable. Also, the best version of you might not always be the most productive. We get sold this idea on social media and wellness culture that the best version of you is waking up at 5 a.m., working out every day, eating super healthy all the time, just super productive, locked in on all fronts. And that's amazing. But sometimes the best version of you might be the one who's a little bit messier, a little less optimized, slower, laughs more, sleeps better. Trust that version of you. That version of you lives within you already. And you can be productive and you can rest. It's not one or the other. But following from that, what I'm not saying is that you should just not work and sit back and watch life pass you by. That's not what I'm saying. And that leads to my next truth that I learned. The most dangerous version of you is the one who never tried. If you always have dreamt about writing a book and you never do it, that dream that you never even went for will rot you from the inside out, not because you failed, but because you never even gave it a shot. It will cause bitterness to grow inside of you. It will make you judge other people who are actually trying. And if you are at a point in your life right now where you feel like you're kind of grumbling, you're the grouch saying that, oh, everybody's doing this, everybody has a blog now, everybody's trying to make something of themselves. Ask yourself, are you saying that because maybe some part of you actually wants to do that yourself, but you're too scared of how other people will perceive you? So now you're judging and you're being a grouch about it because in some way you want to prove to yourself that you not having gone after that dream is the right thing. If you're criticizing other people, most of the time it's not about them. It's the ghost of the life you were too scared to live. And that thing that scares you, chase it. Risk looking stupid. Cynicism is not cool. It's just a form of disappointment. I want to read you something incredible by Carl Jung. So for those of you who don't know, Carl Jung founded the School of Analytical Psychology. And he was very influenced by psychologists like Sigmund Freud. So he's a Swiss psychiatrist and psychotherapist who lived in the late 1800s, early 1900s. Okay, so this is what he wrote. The world is full of people suffering from the effects of their own unlived life. They become bitter, critical, or rigid, not because the world is cruel to them, but because they have betrayed their own inner possibilities. The artist who never makes art becomes cynical about those who do. The lover who never risks loving mocks romance. The thinker who never commits to a philosophy sneers at belief itself. And yet, all of them suffer because deep down they know the life they mock is the life they were meant to live. Oh, isn't that incredible? Let it sink in. Carl Jung, cool guy. Okay, next one. There is no end game. You're never going to arrive somewhere and feel finished. Life isn't a linear staircase, it's a spiral. You'll revisit lessons and places and emotions. Just because you learned a lesson doesn't mean that you're going to do it right in the future. You'll circle back to lessons you've learned, and sometimes you have to learn them multiple times. If you are starting a workout routine, you are not working out because in 3 months you'll have the perfect body and then you're going to stop working out. No, hopefully you're working out because you want to be healthier for life. And there is no end game in that. If you're working, hopefully you're not working with the idea that I'm going to grind it out till I'm 65 and the end game is retirement. No, because then what is the point? You're wasting all these years where you're young and healthy right now. Life is ultimately a simulation. It's like a video game. We get to choose what we want to do. We get to choose how we want to feel. And I think one of the most beautiful truths is that if you analyze goals that people have, like they want to be successful, they want to be famous, they want to achieve this or that. Ultimately, if you go deep down into the why of it, it's all about a feeling. Why do you want to become famous? Probably because you want to feel admired. You want to feel like you belong. You want to feel confident in yourself when you feel that other people are looking up to you. Why do you want to start a family? Because you want that comfort, you want that peace, you want to feel, again, like you belong. And you believe that that will give you joy. Why do you want to become a doctor? Same thing. You think that it'll make an impact and you think that it'll help you make the world better. Why do you want to make the world better? Because that's going to give you joy. It's going to make you feel significant. Ultimately boils down to a feeling. And if you realize that you can have that feeling right now, you don't have to say that I'm only going to embrace this joy, this peace, this feeling that I belong when this goal happens. You can embrace it right now in different ways. Because the goal isn't the end game. Life is happening right now. It's such a cliche, but there is no tomorrow. There is no yesterday. On a deeply philosophical level, there really only is today, right now. And how can you make right now a great experience for you? How can you embrace the feeling of peace and joy right now? Yes, while you work towards your goals, of course. It gives us drive and joy to have a purpose and to work towards something, definitely. But also find joy in the process of becoming the thing you want to be, of achieving that goal. Because otherwise, what is the point? I want to, again, read you something beautiful. Wait, I'm going to take a sip of coffee while I look for this poem. I saved it somewhere. Here it is. Okay. It's a poem by Victoria Hutchins, and it's called Don't Save Joy for Lost. Listen to this. If I spent less time sitting in the sun and more time sitting at my desk, maybe I could really make something of myself. If I read fewer romance novels and more self-help books, maybe I could find the formula to unlock the life of my dreams. If I spent less money on lavender lattes and put more money in the bank, maybe someday I could afford a big house with a wraparound porch where I could sit in the sun, read a romance novel, and have a lavender latte. Isn't that beautiful? This really made me realize that sometimes we're chasing this illusion of something that we believe will give us joy, when really we can have that in our day-to-day lives now. And by this, again, I'm not saying don't chase your dreams. don't have a purpose because, of course, I really do believe that nothing can make you as bitter as just not taking action towards your deepest desires. So, yes, chase your dreams, have a purpose, but don't forget to enjoy life along the way. Another one, nobody is original, be a collage. This idea that, oh, I need to be so unique, so original. It's just, we need to get over ourselves. The thoughts you're having at 2 a.m. that you think are groundbreaking, philosophers have had 300 years ago. Nobody is original. You are allowed to pick and choose elements from different people that you find inspiring and make it a part of who you are. You are allowed to curate your identity. You know that idea of we are kind of like this collection of all the people we've loved before? Because little things that different people teach us or that we pick up from them become a part of who we are. I love that. We're all collages. And the coolest people I know are collectors. They pick up habits, maybe little quirks or fashion items or rituals from other people, and they become this collage of everything and everyone they have ever loved. And that, for me, is true originality. Not trying to be different from anybody else, not hating on things just because they're popular. It's not being unique and authentic and original, because nobody is. Be a collage. I mean, I cross my T's in a certain way because I remember seeing a friend doing it in that way when I was 12. And I still do it to this day. And right now, it's so much a part of me. Sometimes I even forget that's why I picked it up. I met a girl at this hostel in LA when I was traveling in the US, and she wore her necklaces layered in a very specific way. And I just remember loving it, and I picked it up, and now I do that, and it's just a part of me now. The way you pronounce a certain word, or how you cook your rice, or how you answer the phone, the type of music you listen to. It all comes from different people, things we pick up along the way, along this journey of living. And it's beautiful. It shows how much love you are capable of receiving and giving. Another truth, the real luxury in life is presence. Presence, being able to be in the moment. Because you could have the most money in the world, you can have fancy handbags, cars, but if you don't know how to enjoy them, if you don't know how to go outside and feel the sun in your face and be in that moment, if you're constantly thinking about work, thinking about what you want that you don't have, feeling guilty when you take time off, that's not luxury. Real luxury, real wealth is the freedom and space in your mind to be in this moment. Because truly all there is this moment. To be with friends, to be present in conversation so that you can really connect with people, to be present with yourself, soak it up, feel how sensual and delicious life is. Okay, so the next one, after a certain age, how you live is a choice. Yes, of course, I've said this before on the podcast. People are born into different privileges, and that really can change the trajectory of your life. The way you were raised, your upbringing, really does shape you in a big way. But at some point in your life, you cannot keep blaming your upbringing. It only goes so far. Eventually, it's on you to realize that, yes, what happened to me is not my fault, but it is my responsibility how I deal with it. You are responsible for your own healing, your own growth, your own patterns. The life you're living is the one you're building. This is your life. Yes, of course, a lot of people are entitled to their excuses. You can say, I experienced this in my childhood, and that's why it's so difficult for me to maybe do what I need to do to achieve my goals. Or I couldn't go to this university, or I couldn't afford that, and this is why I can't do the things I want to do. Of course, you are entitled to those excuses, but do you want to be? Do you want to keep clinging on to them? There is no prize for suffering. Step out of a victimhood mentality because, yes, baby, you were a victim. Nobody is taking that away from you. But do you want to have a victim mentality for the rest of your life? Yes, maybe you're disadvantaged and you have to work harder for what you want to achieve. Are you going to use that as an excuse not to work for it? Or are you just going to work harder? Women have been doing it for ages. Choose your hard. Like I said, an unloved life is going to rot inside of you if you don't go after what you want. So do you want to keep making excuses and feeling safe in those excuses, convincing yourself that it's okay that you didn't go for what you wanted? Or do you want to roll up your sleeves and do the work? Yes, I am very much aware of my own privilege. I grew up with parents who loved me, who loved each other. But I've also had conversations with people that grew up in circumstances that I cannot even imagine. And they are the most kind, empathetic, successful, driven people I know. Your life is up to you. You can choose to take responsibility for the experience of being you. I do not want to invalidate anybody's experience. I just want to shake you awake a little bit and tell you, yes, this might have sucked, but what now? This is your life. You owe it to yourself to make the best of it. Okay, another point. The people who go the furthest in life are not the smart ones. They're not the prettiest ones. They're the most curious ones. The people who go the furthest in life are the most curious. Not even ambition, not even crazy intelligence, but curiosity, wonder, a desire to know, to understand, to experience life, to stay fascinated. Why? Because those people will make the best connections with other humans. When people feel like other people are curious about them and are really interested to getting to know them, you make really profound connections. If you are always open, wanting to learn more about culture, about people, opportunities will flow to you, and you will learn things about life and about yourself that will just set you up perfectly. The smartest people are the ones who know that they don't know anything. The kindest and most loving people are the ones who are always searching for new ways to love more. The wisest people are the ones who are curious about other people's stories, about other cultures. They're the ones who know that my life and my opinions aren't all that. There's so much more out there. And that curiosity, that openness, will just allow so many beautiful things to flow into your life. Last point. Last truth I learned while living through my 20s. You can be grateful and still want more. Desire doesn't cancel out gratitude. You're not greedy for wanting a life that excites you. But here's the key. There's a big difference between wanting more from a place of lack and wanting more from a place of fullness. When your desire is rooted in the belief that you're not enough yet, that you need to achieve or acquire something to be worthy, you just end up chasing endlessly, burning out, spiraling into comparison, into never feeling satisfied. But when your desire is born from abundance, when you already feel grounded and grateful and at home in yourself, wanting more becomes this act of expansion, not desperation. You're not running from a void. You're reaching from a place of wholeness. That's when your dreams stop feeling like escape plans and start becoming invitations to a bigger life. So if you want more because you think that success or this thing that you're chasing will finally make you feel enough, you're just setting yourself up for disillusionment. But when you already recognize all the things in your life that are amazing, when you recognize the love, the little things, the health that maybe you look past in your day-to-day life, but you want more from that place of fullness, it can be beautiful. Then it's not about fixing yourself. It's about growing into what is possible. I want to leave you with this final thought. Don't mistake stillness for stagnation, and don't confuse desire with lack. You're allowed to want more, but in the process of wanting more, in the process of striving for a goal, reaching your purpose, don't forget to enjoy life in the interim. Wow, I'm realizing now that a lot of these points are kind of weaving into each other and supporting each other in different beautiful ways. I love that. Anyway, I feel like that was super quick fire because I need to get back to work, but I really wanted to have this conversation with you. If this sparked something in you, send it to a friend, leave a review, or DM me with your own little unhinged truths. I would love to hear them. Also, it helps the podcast reach more people, reach the people that really need to hear it. So I appreciate all the support. I read every review, every message you guys send me. So thank you for that. Until next time, stay curious, stay tender, and don't forget to romanticize the hell out of this Thursday. And as always, don't be afraid to get a little lost. that's where the magic finds you. Until next week.